Come with me if you want to live.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
This is it. Don't get scared.
Well, hello and welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. I will explain why I'm wearing bunny ears in just one moment. But first and foremost, I want to say, hey, how are you guys doing? Thanks for joining me once again. I missed you guys. And I figured on this evening of Labor Day, we could hang out, talk about some movies. You guys could ask me some questions, anything and everything. You know how this goes. And we could just relax, and hopefully you guys have a delicious caffeinated beverage, something salty, maybe buttery, either way. Let me open up this bad boy right here. As it just spills out all over my lap. That's awesome. I love it. I don't even know how that happened. I didn't shake it. I was very gentle. I don't know why it exploded on me, but now I'm slightly mad about it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But now, let me get to why a grown man is wearing bunny ears. It's probably not the weirdest thing you've seen on the internet today. And I'll just explain myself. So, Borderlands sent me a box, a nice little swag box, of some junk that I'll probably get rid of, and in hopes that I promote their movie. Now, let me say this. I have not seen the new Borderlands movie. I don't know if I want to see it, but more importantly, in this big swag box of shit that they sent me, now keep in mind, thank you for sending me the box, because there is some delicious sugary treats in there that I do want to snack on. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not going to be all uptight about it. But they did not. And I repeat, they did not even send me a digital code to watch the movie or check it out. They just sent me a box of treats and said, hey, can you talk about the movie? So I haven't seen this movie. I believe you can stream it right now if you want to pay for it. I probably won't do that. I've heard nothing but bad things about the movie. Maybe one day, probably not. Actually, I will not watch it. But nevertheless, let me open up this box of goodies that they sent me. And here it goes. So what they did is they sent me some cellophane bubble wrap. And what you do is when you watch the movie, you put this around your face. And you just hope that you eventually pass out before the movie starts. I'm just kidding. You don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. But no, in this box, we have a Borderlands popcorn bucket available to buy or rent at home. Is anyone renting Borderlands at home? Now, if they did send me a digital code to watch the movie, I will immediately smack myself in the face for blatantly lying to you. But actually, did they send me a code? No. They just said share this. So it's available to watch. If you want to. But yeah, there's some snacks in here. There's a blanket. There's some popcorn. Ooh, there's some Sour Patch Kids. There's a nice warm 7-Up. Is 7-Up part of Borderlands in any way whatsoever? Or did they just randomly send me a 7-Up? Huh. I'm more of a Sprite Zero guy. I'll forgive it just this once. Ooh, and they sent me a Sunkiss. Keep it classy, Borderlands. Keep it classy. So anyway, and some licorice. Actually, these look good. I will eat these later when I watch Monday Night Raw. Okay. So let's open up the blanket for Borderlands, and I will get into the glorious questions, and I thank you guys for these glorious questions. I'll answer one right now as I struggle to open this up. The first one's from Skylar Wheelock, who says, "Hi, John. If you could travel back in time to see any film opening night, what will you be watching?" If I could go back in time to the opening night of any big cinematic event taking place and witness it with people, I think it would be pretty awesome to see the original Star Wars movie. I think that would be captivating to see that with audiences because they haven't really seen anything like that. That could be a good time. Maybe Star Wars. I think that was just such a pivotal event. I'd probably go Star Wars. Okay, the next one comes from the White Skull, who says, "I love you." Well, I love you too, sir. I love each and every single one of you in my own little special way. Shh, don't tell anybody. Okay, the next one comes from Mark Hickey, who says, "It seems I've worn my long legs today. What happens if I ... Yeah, the whole long legs. I wore my long legs today. I don't know. I like to wear my long... Jesus. Someone said I was losing my gains the other day, and you know what? You might just be right, because I cannot open this plastic package. Let me use my brains, not my bronze. There we go, baby. Okay, here's the Borderlands blanket. Let's check this bad boy out. Okay, there's that. Isn't the robot voiced by Jack Black? Because why not? Okay. All right, so there's the Borderlands stuff. Did you guys watch Borderlands? Did you like it? Best movie of the year. If they paid me enough, I'd say it. But they unfortunately only paid me with cheap gas station candy and a warm 7-Up. So I refuse to give them any more accreditation. Okay, the next one comes from... It's coming from Skylar Wheelock once again. If you could solve any crime by committing the crime, what would you do? I have to commit the crime to solve the crime? I don't know. I would really, I think, I don't know, the JFK assassination? I guess I would have to assassinate the president to figure out who really... What is the question again? Or did you just get me to admit to a felony I have not committed? What was it again? If you could solve any crime by committing the crime, what would you do? Oh my God. I don't know, man. Maybe some non-violent mystery of sorts. Couldn't tell you. You know what I would do? I would do the... what is it? D.B. Cooper plane heist, where he jumps out, parachutes, never found again, had $1 million in cash on him or something like that. I could be down with that. That's just Point Break in the sky. I think that's kind of cool. So we'll go with that one. V-Chat says rank Kingdom of the Apes, DP3, Romulus and Furiosa. What? Rank those movies? I would probably say I actually think Deadpool 3 was the most enjoyable out of all of those movies, honestly. I would think Furiosa would be right behind that for me. Then Romulus, then Kingdom of the Apes. I was not a big fan of Kingdom of the Apes. I thought that was a really instantly forgettable movie. PS2 Homer says, did you watch Kill Tony? It's the best show on YouTube. I have not watched Kill Tony. I have watched a few movies recently since the last time I talked to you guys. It's been a few weeks. A few movies I watched. I finally did watch Oddity. I think that's a nice little micro-budget horror film. You know, it's a good rainy night watch around Halloween time. I don't think I would go back and revisit it. I wasn't really blown away by it, but I think it was, if you had a really limited budget, limited resources, I think Oddity was a clever enough film that was eerie. And then I will not watch the Crow movie, so let's not talk about the Crow movie. It looks like Eminem from 8 Mile saving his white trash girlfriend. Then what else came out? Oh, It Ends With Us. I did go see that only because my fiance read the book, and I like to watch movies about domestic violence. Don't ask why. I'm just kidding. There's nothing funny about that whatsoever. But I will say this. The movie was it was kind of watered down compared to the book. She told me scenes that happened in the book, and I was like, ooh, that would have been so much more captivating had they showed that on the big screen. But of course, they don't want to really push the boundaries too far. You got to water this shit down. So I think had they included this in the actual film, some of these sequences of violence, I think it would have really helped get that message across, and people would be talking about the movie, except no one's talking about the movie, and then it'll probably come out on Netflix in 2 months, and then people will talk about it for 2 days, and then it won't be in the top 10 trending movies, and then no one will ever talk about it again. That's how Netflix works.
Hi John, you chose my 42nd birthday for a live...
The one thing I want to see, though, that is not playing in a theater anywhere near me, and yes, I am still wearing the bunny ears because I'm a complete douchebag, but the thing I really want to see is Strange Darling, but it's not playing anywhere, and I hate when they do this shit. They have one of these movies, they put it in limited release where it's playing in one theater per state, and then what they do is they try to... I get the tactic that they're going for, right? They'll eventually release it once word of mouth spreads, but you know what? Gosh dang it, because this is a PG-13 rated show. If the movie was in theaters right now, during the dead zone when there's nothing to go see at the theater, there's nothing new to go see, right? Or at least for me there isn't. It's sort of the dead zone, the dead week. There's nothing to go see. Had Strange Darling been playing, I think people would have went and seen it this week because there was nothing else to see. There was no competition. So I think it was a detriment to the film, and I would like to go see it. But unfortunately, the closest one is 2 hours away, and I cannot get my car to drive 2 hours to go see this movie. But anyway, did you guys see Strange Darling? Did you like it? What'd you think about it? Yeah, I've heard it was great. I want to see it. If it was in a theater near me, I would go see it. You think they would release it in more than one theater in the entire state of Indiana? Call me crazy. You know, I don't know. Okay, play it in a drive-in or some shit. I don't know. Somebody will accidentally buy tickets for it, even if they don't know what it is. Okay, the next one comes from Better Call Maul, who says, "You're the last person on YouTube who is charismatic and doesn't touch kids. Bravo, Johnny Bean Flicker." Well, oh my God, what a standard to live by. I think there's probably a lot of people who could also claim both things, but I will take the credit and the compliment. So thank you for that. Devin Freese says, "Love your channel, John. First time being here live." Well, hey, Devin, thanks for being here live, man. It means a lot. I can feel your energy resonating through the camera lens into my body. Most importantly, it's resonating into my bosom, and I like it. It's warm, it's tingly, and it's delightful. And it's also comforting. And I hope you feel the same way, too. What was the question about not touching kids again? Anyway, let's go to the next question. Skylar Wheelock once again. Who's a horror movie character you will always defend? Horror film character I will always defend. You know, I gotta say, Jason Voorhees, I can almost understand his motivation. Can't we all? A special needs kid that was just left to drown out in the middle of the lake, that was basically bullied into death because the camp counselors were just too busy fucking on the shore. I don't know, call me crazy, but taking a machete to every kid who comes to Camp Crystal Lake for years and years afterwards almost feels justified to me. Slightly. And hey, if you don't want to be butchered to death, simply just don't go to Camp Crystal Lake. It's that easy. So maybe Jason Voorhees. I always had a soft spot in my heart for him. You got to. It just feels right. So in my opinion, I think his vengeance was justified. And I'm going to stand by that. Let's go to the next question. The next one comes from Lee B. Films, who says, keep one sequel. Dread 2, Constantine 2, District 10, Dracula Untold 2. I don't think anyone wants to see Dracula Untold 2. I'm sure one of you sad, sadistic fucks do, but not me. I would probably like to see... Well, okay, here's my question for District 10. Do they add to the lore, and do we get some home planet information about the prongs? Do we go back to their home planet? Do we go into space? Is there some kind of space travel? If that's the case, maybe. That sounds fascinating to me because I love sci-fi. Especially sci-fi space time travel movies. Give it to me now. But Dread 2, man, it has baffled me since that film originally came out that we have not received a sequel, especially with it being sort of a cult classic at this point. It just seems like the perfect movie that someone like Netflix could find $90 million to make a sequel to. I'm sure Carl Urban would love to make it. People would love to watch it. I would like to see it. We get all these generic, shitty action movies that aren't even based on any IP, and those get crapped into theaters. But yet, we don't have a Dread 2. Isn't that insane to anyone else? I don't know. So, I think District 10 would be the most fascinating sequel, but right behind that, I'm going to go with Dread 2. Okay, the next one comes from Avocado Balls Johnson, who says, greetings, fellow Johnson. Have you seen vicious crime drama Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson? Director S. Greg Zoller is most underrated. I think I have seen Dragged Across Concrete. I believe I have. It sounds really familiar. Oh my, yes, I have. I have seen it. It's been a minute though. I feel like I watched that one late night on some random streaming service. Yes, I have seen it. Don't ask me to elaborate on extreme details, but I remember thinking it was okay, but I don't remember much about it. What an informative answer from a guy who talks about movies. I know. The next one comes from Rex, who says, I have my university graduation ceremony tomorrow, and I've been watching for 8 years! ! What was your graduation like, and do any movies remind you of it? My graduation was... so on that day, I remember I had a SUV that I was getting a lift kit put on because I was into like off-road, all-terrain type vehicles. I wanted light bars and fog lights and bumper guards and grill guards and an 8-inch lift kit with 35-inch all-terrain tires. And I remember the day I was getting my car back that day that I took it into the shop on the day I graduated from high school. And I think this was early June. This was 2006, almost 20 years ago. I'm becoming an old man, but look at me now. Anyway, so I remember getting my SUV back that day. So I was pretty excited about that. And I remember I was getting ready to go to graduation. And I went in and I met up with a few of my friends. We took a couple pictures. And then we sort of said we would meet up later and hang out. And I think we did later that night, but I just remember it was sort of a blur. I was so happy to be leaving. I remember when I was standing in the hallway of my high school, getting ready to walk out for what I was hoping for would be the last time. First of all, I was so grateful that I graduated because I barely got by. I barely graduated. It's not because I'm incompetent. I might have a slight learning disability, but that's neither here nor there. But I just remember I had like an extra couple credits, barely. Anyway, it felt really good to walk out of school for the last time because I hated that place. A lot of people say, oh, it's the best years of my life. And don't get me wrong, there were some good times to be had, but man, I was so fucking happy to leave that hellhole. It felt like a minimum security prison. You're just there all day on these hard plastic seats under fluorescent lights, listening to some teacher blab on about something that you could just read for 4 seconds in a textbook. And it's like, oh, I get it. It's right here. It's one paragraph. Why is this taking an hour and a half to elaborate on? I got it. And then you don't use 90% of the information later on, or instantaneously as soon as you graduate, you never retain it and use it again. But anyway, it felt really good. So congratulations on graduating high school. I'd like to say it's all downhill from here, but I couldn't tell you. I had a couple rough patches after high school. And now I'm just a 37-year-old man wearing bunny ears on YouTube. All right, let's go to the next one here. Stephen Macer. How's it going, Stephen, man? The 10-year anniversary of Nightcrawler is a couple months away, and I have an ambitious video collab idea if you're up for an adventure. Keep your eyes out for an email. I edited your 100K sub video, and I think this would be a good spiritual follow-up. Well, Steven, I do appreciate that, and Steven does great editing. He's edited a couple videos for me, and he's phenomenal. Great guy. So yeah, Steven, man, send me an email. Tell me what you got up your sleeve. The name of the company is Video Production News, a professional news gathering service. That is how it should be read, and that is how it should be said. Anyway, Greg Sheen says, Johnny Boy, what are your top 3 fast food restaurants? That's a great question. So if I had to go with a couple fast food restaurants that I quite enjoy, one of them is called Culver's. I was just talking about this today. Now, if you don't have a Culver's in your area, maybe Google it, go to one, because when it comes to fast food that actually tastes fresh, it doesn't taste like some kid spit in it, or they're using regurgitated grease, Culver's is the place to be, because I feel like they cook it to order, and I believe they do, because it's one of the fast food facilities that you go in, or you don't go in, you go through the drive-thru, you order the food, and they give you a sticker, and then you pull up, and you're parked with 4, 5, 6 other cars, as you wait on them to actually cook your food, and they bring it out to you. So you know it's cooked fresh. So yeah, I would go with Culver's. My second favorite restaurant or fast food place? Oh, shoot. I don't eat a lot of fast food these days. I refuse to go to Subway. It's something about it so disgusting to me. I'd rather eat dog food. You know what? I'll give McDonald's the credit where credit's due. Sometimes McDonald's just hits the spot. And the thing about McDonald's food is all of their food is so soft. Have you noticed, like, a McDonald's hamburger is literally so soft that you don't even have to chew it? Now, that's either a good thing or it could be a scary thing, depending on if you have teeth or not. But what I like to say is, you can just put that hamburger in your mouth and it will eventually just disintegrate and you can swallow it without chewing. So in that sense, it's a really easy eating experience that requires very little effort. And that just really occurred to me now. But anyway, I like McDonald's every once in a while when I'm feeling extra trashy. And then my third favorite fast food restaurant is, you know what? If I'm feeling a little bit sleazy and a little bit feisty and it's a little late and I want a Baja Blast and there's only one place you can buy a Baja Blast, well, damn it, that's Taco Bell. And I'll tell you this right now. I have not eaten Taco Bell in probably like 3 years, but just a few weeks ago, it was late. We were bored. We were hungry. And damn it, Taco Bell just hit the spot. And I was so happy with the customer service I received at Taco Bell that night. And keep in mind, it was like 11 o'clock at night. So usually the late night shift at fast food places, they just don't give a shit. But this group of guys, outstanding citizens and phenomenal customer service. And that's why I went back again. And then I went back once again. It's so delicious. Hits the spot. Plus a little cinnamon twist at Taco Bell. You just want to take 2 of them, put them in your ears and go, yeah, it feels good. Let's go to the next question. Rex says, also, when do you start watching Halloween movies? That's a fair question. Actually, I think that's a conversation we need to have right now. I feel you can start watching Halloween movies in September. Now, really, the pivotal time to watch Halloween movies is October 1st. But I feel like if there's enough films on your list to watch, I think September's fine. I think that's fair. It's a respectable time to start. But I think October 1st is like the national day you're allowed to start watching Halloween movies. But then again, hey, let me back up. I think by mid-September you can start putting out Halloween decorations. So in that sense, you can start watching Halloween movies by mid-September. Like September 20th, you can put Halloween decorations out. You got to let 9/11 pass because that's way too soon. But as soon as we get to September 20th, put your Halloween decorations out. Okay. The next one comes from Better Call Maul, who says, did you watch Loki Season 2? Finally, a good Marvel season. I have not watched Loki Season 2. I barely watched Loki Season 1. It's not that interesting to me. It's really not. So, yeah, I haven't watched it. I'm just not a fan of the Disney Plus series anymore. I can't waste my time. Time is so precious. We only have so much of it. And I refuse to dedicate any time to watching any Disney Plus series. The Mandalorian, I would definitely watch if we had a new season of that, but nothing else seems all that captivating to me. So yeah, I just haven't watched it. The next one comes from Bastiel, who says, Hi, John, you chose my 42nd birthday for a live stream. That's enough of a gift for me. However, what is your favorite Steve McQueen film? I love Bullet, Getaway, The Great Escape. Well, happy fucking birthday, man. 42 glorious years on this little rock that we call home, just spinning around a giant nuclear reactor. Well, happy birthday, man. And thanks for joining me on your birthday. Now, let's answer the question. I would probably say The Great Escape. I think that's the most pivotal film of Steve McQueen. You gotta go with The Great Escape, yeah. But Bullet was pretty cool. Skylar Wheelock says, how did the monster from Jeepers Creepers not only register a vehicle, but also had a personalized license plate? You know, that's a question I've been asking myself the very first time I watched it. And then the next question I asked myself was, hey, did the guy who directed this film commit crimes against children? Oh, shit. So anyway, yes, the creeper went into the DMV because he didn't do this online, right? He went into the DMV. He got a specialized license plate. He paid for it. He waited in line. And then he put it on his truck. So that means he probably has a driver's license. His vehicle's registered. That or he stole it from someone. But what are the odds of finding a license plate that says that? And then you're also a cannibal. What are the odds? Anyway. Aiden Jensen says, if you could be friends with any Batman villain, who and why? That's a great question. They're all of the Batman villains are slightly insane. Though I think hanging out with the Joker for a day or two could be interesting, but which incarnation of the Joker is it? Is it like the Mark Hamill Joker from the animated series? Or is it like the Joaquin Joker? I don't want to hang out with him. Or is it like, I could hang out with the Heath Ledger Joker. I genuinely think I could get along with him just fine. We could go play like disc golf or something. I think it would be fine. Maybe Joker. But then again, back in my workout phase, hanging out with Tom Hardy's Bane and going to the gym and being like gym bras could be a good time too. So either one of them. What am I saying? No. Take back everything I said. No, I gave you the wrong answers. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns. That's who I'm going to hang out with, and that's who I've wanted to hang out with since I saw that movie in theaters as a little kid. When she put that bird in her mouth, I was like, oh my God. Is there anything she can't do? Okay, the next question comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, did you enjoy Bash in Berlin? I did enjoy Bash in Berlin. I enjoy every WWE PLE that I get. I love it because it feels like they're not pulling their punches as much. They're kind of going for it. And WWE right now, it feels like they're really blurring the lines with making it feel like a true sporting event. You know, it doesn't feel so overproduced. It feels a little more gritty and grounded to some degree. So yeah, I quite enjoyed Bash in Berlin. I definitely enjoyed the main event quite a bit. Yeah, it was a good time, man. And I love crowds over like European crowds. Oh my God, man. They're hyped. They make the action in the ring that much more heightened with their chants. It's beautiful. I love it. Greg Harris says, love your honest reviews. Don't understand why some channels are scared to admit the Crow remake is bad. Also, Rescue Dawn with Bale grew on me. Yeah, I haven't seen the new Crow remake. I haven't seen anyone say it was good. Can you reference the channels who are? I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say it was good. Looking at the trailers, you could just tell that was wrong. Like, I'm not sure who it was made for. It just reminds me of like this new age or new demo of like 19-year-old boys who have like broccoli haircuts and wear like one earring in one ear that's a little cross. And that was the style back in the 1980s. But even then, I think I still feel like if I was in the 1980s, I still would not have done that. So yeah, I don't know who it was made for. Maybe it was made for like 14-year-old girls who like trashy dudes with shitty face tattoos. I don't know I don't know who that movie was made for. I really don't know. I guess maybe TikTok audiences, but it doesn't even seem like they like it. Really bad idea, wasn't it? That was a terrible idea. Terrible casting, terrible idea. A remake that really no one's been asking for, though maybe like 12 years ago someone was asking for it. And I think Jason Momoa at one point screen tested to be in the movie, which at least that would have looked kind of cool. But I would savor that flavor for Lobo if I was going to cast him. So yeah, Rescue Dawn was okay. I saw it once, but Murph, who has been a member for 20 months. Well, thanks, Murph. Let's answer that question. And by the way, speaking of Murph, we almost watched Interstellar last night because my fiance has seen the movie once but does not remember anything about it. And I would like to rewatch the movie with her because I do enjoy a lot of the sequences in space, but there's also a lot of problems I have with that movie. Just inconsistencies, illogical ideas for a movie that's so based on astrophysics and science. At other times, it just felt like Christopher Nolan went, nah, forget all that. We figured out the equation to beat gravity. Okay. The next one comes from... Oh, well, Murph says, what did you think the inside of Cool Duder's hat smells like? I mean, I love me some Cool Duder, but if I had to give you an answer, I would probably say hot dogs. But I love that guy. Let me tell you a story about Cool Duder, because I'm going to give this guy the credit he so rightfully deserves. And that's coming from a guy wearing bunny ears, once again. And I will keep these on for the remainder of the live stream because I have nothing else to live for. And we'll dive into that later. But, do these bend? No? Okay. They say Borderlands on the back. They're Borderlands bunny ears. That's why I'm wearing it, okay? If you're just joining. And by the way, I love how the live chat just doesn't ever... There we go. Refresh that shit. There we go. We talked about Alien Romulus on the last live show for 20 minutes. So if you guys, so I feel like a lot of people don't get my videos in their sub box, and I understand it because YouTube just hoards that shit. Even if you're subscribed to a channel, the algorithm dictates if you actually get those videos in your sub box. It's a truly terrible concept and idea. Anyway, watch the last live stream, the last live show. I talked all about Alien Romulus and a ton of other things. So go check that out. But as far as Cool Duder goes, that was the first channel I remember ever subscribing to on YouTube. Back in 2008, this is probably like 2009? Maybe 2008, 2009. The only channel I was watching was Cool Duder because he would hang out with his friend MJ, and they would go to movie theaters. They would go buy Blu-rays and DVDs and hang out in his parents' basement. And I was like, this is the kind of content I want. And hell, it's still the content I occasionally want and desire. But that was one of the first channels I ever subscribed to, was Sean C. Phillips of Cool Duder. So, hey guys, here's my DVD update for September 5th, 1995. So anyway, let's go to the next question here. James Dosher says, hello, John. Nice bunny ears. Well, thank you for that. And I will take that compliment. Your compliment was sufficient, Lewis. Caleb says, John, I am about to get out of the military and go into cybersecurity. I almost have my bachelor degree, and I'm studying for some certifications, but I have no real-world experience in the field. Do you have any advice for jumping into a new career field? Well, I think you're on your way. And if you're getting into cybersecurity, you could always just lie and say you... Well, let's see. Why don't you just say you did cybersecurity in the military? Just say that. If you're working for a private company, I don't think there's any way they could ever verify such things. So just say you did cybersecurity in the military. That was your position. That's experience. Put that on your resume. If you know what you're talking about, I'm sure it'll work out for you. That's what I would do. And in a way, maybe you did do some cybersecurity in the military. You know, take or give. That's what I would do, man. Or what you could do is just, that's what I would do. Just do that. I actually have a buddy who did that exact same thing. He was in the military, and then he got into some kind of cybersecurity. So it's working out for him. Into Walmart we go. Yes, indeed. I did a lot of cyber sex in the 90s. Yeah. Asher56 says, tips to success at a new job, feel overwhelmed. Take it one day at a time. Just smile. Act like you know what you're talking about. And with the power of the internet and Google, you can figure out anything you need to on your downtime. My motto is you just take it week by week. That's how I live nowadays. I don't live to get to next year. I don't live to get to next month. No. You break it up into smaller pieces because smaller pieces are way more consumable. So I break up my life into weeks. Okay, here's what I'm doing this week. Here's what I want to accomplish. Here's a few fun things I want to do this week. So I'm gonna strive to get to those, and then I just reset it the next week. So that's what I would recommend. Baby steps. And don't take shit from anyone, because as soon as you let someone walk on you, they're going to do it for the rest of your career. Have some backbone, and don't drink the Kool-Aid. Cody Gill says, you watched the Daredevil show? I did watch the Daredevil show. I'm looking forward to the new Daredevil series. Did you know the villain in the new one, Muse, is a serial killer who uses body parts for art? I'm hoping for a horror thrillerish vibe like Seven. That sounds sexy, man. That sounds like a great That sounds like a great villain for Daredevil. Because Daredevil, in my opinion, is so grounded, or at least I hope they keep him somewhat grounded, because I think that's what works for Daredevil. And if he's chasing some serial killer around the city, okay, I can dig on that. It's sort of like, I guess the tone would be like the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. Kind of make it dark, a little bit bleak. Kind of have a sociopathic serial killer on the loose. A little bit of a Seven David Fincher vibe. Okay, I'm down with that. If they want to go that route, I'm absolutely fine with it. Because the truth is, if they're putting the new Daredevil is going to be on Disney Plus, I assume, and they really do need to cater to a somewhat mature adult audience to some degree. Especially with something like Deadpool being rated R, where they're sort of catering back to adults who don't want junk like She-Hulk. I want something that makes me feel something, because I'm a cognitive being. I don't eat baby food. I want something that titillates my senses. So I hope they push the boundaries with the new Daredevil. That's what we need. That's what Disney needs. I hate to tell you, but it's people who are adults that pay for the subscription services and buy the tickets to this shit. Okay? The kids that just tag along are cannon fodder. They don't pay the bills. You need to cater to me, Disney. It's me. No, it sounds awesome, though. Okay, the next one comes from Trippler3, who says, Buffalo Bill only kept women in his moldy well. Did his basement have a fishy odor? What do you think the basement of Buffalo Bill smelled like? I'm sure it was slightly damp. He definitely did not have a dehumidifier in there. And you got to think he's letting carcasses rot so he can cut the skin off and make lampshades made out of nipples. I'm sure it didn't smell good. All right, the next one comes from the 50% Doctor Who podcast. I finally watched Foxcatcher. Has Iron Claw vibes. Yeah, except I think I much prefer Iron Claw over Foxcatcher. I saw Foxcatcher once. I know the true story. I know everything about it. But Iron Claw to me it was a much more intriguing, fun, enjoyable movie to watch and get through. Foxcatcher was just sort of just depressing. Skylar Wheelock says, what's a random movie quote you say all the time for no reason at all? Steady hands, steady hands. What is a random movie quote I say all the time? Don't just look at it, eat it. I don't know. I'm trying to give you a real answer. This is it. Don't get scared now. I probably say that often. Night King 01 says, John, I missed out on the Alamo Drafthouse screening of The Terminator tonight, but this made up for it. Going to see Point Break this week, though. If you had to choose what to see in theaters, what would it be? If I had to pick a movie between those three options you just gave me, I'd probably go see... I don't know. Terminator would be kind of fun to see in theaters. I think Point Break, though. But to be honest with you, I would like to see all of those movies at a drive-in. I think seeing those movies at a drive-in theater would be pretty awesome. And you know what? I wish we had more drive-in theaters that just showed 1980s and 1990s movies every weekend. That's what I need in my life. I don't need new movies that don't make me feel anything. What I want to do is relive movies that I love and enjoy, that are captivating, thought-provoking, but I want to watch them in a new environment, such as a drive-in theater. That's all I want in life. I don't need your new regurgitated baby food put into a blender for easy mass consumption. No, Hollywood. Just take the movies that we all like, that we'll remember, and hell, Back to the Future. Wouldn't that make a great drive-in theater experience? Oh, I can smell the summer night now. Oh, give it to me. I need that. That's what I need. That would be a happy place. I've been meaning to do it. I want to buy one of those 20-foot wide inflatable screens that you can put in your backyard and start projecting movies on it and watch them outside. Maybe I need to do that. You know what? I'm going to order one of those on Amazon tonight. JR says, what type of haircut do you get or ask for when you get one? So I go to a girl who I've known since middle school, and I drive 30 minutes to her barbershop, hair salon, whatever you want to call it. And I always get the same haircut. Now, do I actually specify on what it's called? Absolutely not. What I say is, Christy, make me look cool. And she says, so the same thing. I say, yes. Whatever that is, whatever you've been doing for the last 5 years, just do that. So that's what happens. And furthermore, to elaborate on my haircut, because I know that's what you guys all come here to listen to and see. That's the most important thing. Movies are secondary. But when it comes to haircuts for me, if I don't have longer hair on the top of my head, and it's a very fine line when it's too long or too short, but if my hair's too short on my head, it just makes my head look too big, and that's no good. So I got to get it just right, or else I'm going to be walking around like Hey Arnold. Can't do it. Okay, the next one comes from Carter Lovejoy, who says, The Sixth Sense and Signs are finally coming to 4K. Shyamalan recently said that he's working on a 4K and Blu-ray release of The Village. It was only available on DVD until now. Well, that's cool, man. I don't really need any of those movies on 4K. Maybe Signs would be kind of cool on 4K, but I have not had the urge to rewatch The Village since seeing it in theaters, though I did enjoy it. I do like The Sixth Sense, but it's just not one of those movies I have the urge to go back and rewatch. I have it on Blu-ray. I specifically remember buying The Sixth Sense on Blu-ray from Blockbuster when it was going out of business in 2011. I know, that's how my brain works, okay? But I can't remember what I ate for dinner 2 nights ago. So yeah, those are cool movies, man. I just don't know if I need to get any of them on 4K. Okay, the next one comes from, and I'm reading these I feel like I'm reading these as quickly as I possibly can, but I'm still 21 minutes behind. I'm so sorry for that. Okay. And by the way, if any YouTube members are in here, feel free to chime in the chat. I'm looking at the live chat now. It finally updated. It was something about it was laggy for the last 10 minutes, but I'm on it now. I'm looking, I'm reading, I'm ready. Okay. Avocado Balls Johnson says, choose one. Either every new movie is interrupted by 30-second unskippable commercials every 2 minutes, or every new movie stars Conor McGregor. That is another universe I do not want any part in. But let's be honest, one day we will eventually get to the point where unskippable commercials play every 2 seconds. I mean, isn't YouTube getting to that point now? And yes, will I be honest with you and be transparent unlike everybody else? Yeah. Do I click the monetize button that says play aggressive ads on my videos? I do. I do click that button. Why? Because I need some money, okay? If I'm pumping out this content, I need a few shekels, all right? Because YouTube's not paying what it used to. And here's another thing about YouTube. Literally, every video I put out, I go back and watch some of my videos. 75 ads will play on a 5-minute video. Not only do they play one ad at a time, they play 2 ads back to back. Okay, that's fine. But the money that you receive, the CPMs, the ad revenue, the RPMs, are lower than they've ever been. So you have 98% more ads on my video. I see them. They're there. They're playing. You clearly got paid for these ads, YouTube. But why the fuck aren't you paying me the same rate? You're paying me less. It makes no sense. So that's a little problem I have with YouTube. So anyway, what was the? Oh yeah, so Conor McGregor. You know what? Put Conor McGregor in it. Does he have to? Okay, here's the thing. If Conor McGregor stars in every movie, does he have to actually be the star, or can he play like the supporting secondary character? If that's the case, I can live with that. Or can he just play a tree in the background? Oh, what's that redheaded short tree doing back there? I don't know. Skylar Wheelock says, the whole Targaryen war could have been avoided if they didn't have a bad habit of naming all of their sons Aegon. Yeah, it got a little confusing, to be honest with you. At one point watching that series, I was hoping people would start wearing name tags, because I was like, his name starts with an A. I don't remember the fuck it is. I don't know. The blonde boy. I don't. And then I was just like, well, can someone just die by dragon at some point soon? That's all I care about at this point. So, really, the truth is, it's lack of communication that really causes every war, is it not? So, the show is just a testament to that. It's just art imitating life. That's all it is. A simple conversation could avoid every violent conflict if you really think about it. Could it not? Azim the Dream says, hey Johnny, I finally graduated and I have student loans to pay off. Welcome to the club. Any tips or life hacks would be much appreciated, please. Well, unfortunately, my good friend, there are no life hacks to paying off your student loans. That's the unfortunate thing about life. You now will work the rest of your life, or at least the next 20 years, paying off these debts to something that really weren't justified or worth it. And I've been there. I've done it. It took me like 10 years to pay off my student loans. What I would do is try to consolidate, and if you can take out a loan, however you want to do it, take out another loan. So not to get too technical on you, but depending on how many student loan debts you have, each one of those has like a 7% interest rate on it. So you're paying 7%, 7%, 7%. I had 5 loans at one time. Each one was 7%. Okay, so that's 28% in interest I'm paying. All right. What I would do is, however you can get a major amount of money, I don't know how you're going to rob a bank, whatever you got to do, get that, pay off your student loan debts, and just pay the interest on that one debt or that one loan that you get, because it'll be far cheaper over time. That's the best life advice I can give you, and that's coming from a guy who's terrible with his finances. So take that however you will. The next one comes from Better Call Maul, who says, best thing to eat while baked, Johnny. I quite enjoy Jolly Rancher gummies. They're soft, they're so flavorful, but then when I want something salty, I've been on a Frito kick lately. Other than that, I quite enjoy the Oreo ice cream sandwiches. Those are quite delectable. Delectable is the term I'm going for. Because here's my motto. You need something fruity. You need something cold and creamy. But most importantly, you need something salty. And then to wash all that down, you need a carbonated beverage. Now, that's subjective. Now, objectively, I think you should have a clear carbonated beverage because it's more quenching. And it cleanses the palate for the food. So you want something bland, but yet refreshing. So I go with a nice Sprite Zero. It's not trying to do more than it should. But with all of that said, a Dr. Pepper every once in a while is just what the doctor ordered. I can drink a Dr. Pepper without any food. That in itself is all I need. Okay, the next one comes from, and I like the fact that it tastes like cough medicine. I don't care. One day I'll tell you the story about when I drank too much cough medicine and I had to get my stomach pumped when I was 5 years old. But that's neither here nor now. The next one comes from Carter Lovejoy, who says, to continue my super chat, what are some movies that are only on DVD that have yet to be on Blu-ray and 4K release? I hope to see Straight Story, Idiocracy, and What About Bob on 4K and Blu-ray someday. Maybe someday. Do I need any of those movies on 4K once again right now in my life? Probably not. I feel like What About Bob on Blu-ray? Is that not on Blu-ray? Why do I think that was? Anyway, baby steps. Baby steps. I would like Nightcrawler on 4K. Give me that right now, please. It's been taking way too long. So I would go with Nightcrawler on 4K. But thanks for the question, Carter. Better Call Maul says, Johnny, I'm baked. What should I watch? I would recommend pro wrestling. Nothing hits the spot more than pro wrestling. It's everything I want. I want to see spectacle. I want to see theatricality. I want to see violence. I want to see story. I want to see production value. I want to see pyrotechnics. I want to see lighting. I want to see sweaty dudes in spandex wrestle each other. Wrestling to me is the ultimate thing to watch. But beyond that, I think a good sci-fi film is always delectable. Okay, the next one comes from Night King 01, who says, John, I was thinking of Batman Begins randomly as one does, and I realized I never thought of the biggest problem with the third act. Well, what is it? Why doesn't everyone start exploding if the microwave emitter vaporizes water? That's a great question. And now let me give you a scientific response from the top of my head. And by the top of my head, I mean my melon covered by 2 cheap bunny ears sent to me by Lionsgate Studios to recommend Borderlands, which is a shitty movie. Now, furthermore, I think the reason that everyone doesn't explode because our bodies are made up of 75, 80% water is because you need a large water source for the microwave emitter to transpond with. So by the sewers and the water supply, the large water supply pipes under Gotham City, it's a larger body of water. And I think that's what's drawn to the microwave emitter. I think with human beings, because we are porous, unlike pipes, I think maybe it might make you sweat more or maybe slightly perspirate. But with the infrastructure of pipes under Gotham City, they don't have pores. They can't sweat the water out. It just explodes out. So that is my scientific response to you, why everyone doesn't explode in the third act of Batman Begins. But with all that said, I'll tell you the biggest detriment to The Dark Knight. I like the Chicago setting. I like the Chicago backdrop. But damn it, it looked like Chicago and it did not look like Gotham City. And in Batman Begins, Gotham City in that film, it sort of had a pulse. It had a grittiness. It had this underworld vibe that I would have liked to see explored a little bit more. And I was so disappointed that we didn't quite get that in The Dark Knight. I thought Gotham just didn't quite feel Gotham-y enough. So let's go to the next question. Skylar Wheelock says, what movie was most disappointing? Like, not necessarily bad, just not what you expected. Huh. Well, I'll give you one movie that I grew to love, and it was Furiosa. Not Furiosa. Let me slap my hand. Never again will I make another mistake on this channel. No, it was Mad Max Fury Road. Because I had grown up with Road Warrior my entire life. It sort of has this really grittiness style to it. It doesn't feel overproduced. It doesn't feel like everything's on a steady cam. You know, it feels a little bit raw and visceral. And Mad Max was the complete opposite of that. And I think the first time I saw Mad Max Fury Road I was like, I like what I'm watching here. Part of me wish it was a little less glossy feeling. And specifically, the one shot in that film I don't like, and even to this day, as much as I love the movie, and I do love the movie, the shot at towards the very end of the film, where the rig crashes into the cliff, and then you have this like really corny, hokey 3D shot of the truck flying into the screen, and that's cool. But when the digital steering wheel pops off the vehicle and you have the guitar fling towards the camera like this, I don't like that. To me, that feels like something that would have been tacked into a shitty 3D movie, and I think it sort of took me out of that sequence a little bit. It's like you have this beautiful shot. The truck's flipping over. I know that they did this practically, right? And then they just threw all this digital junk in the front of it. And it just pissed me off. So anyway, the first time I watched Mad Max Fury Road, I was just a little taken back by it. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. Let me collect my thoughts. So that's one movie I would say. I'm sure there's another one. Probably even a better example I'm not thinking of. The next one comes from Avery A., who says, I want Night King 01 in my basement. He's in my... If I had a basement, he would be in my basement. I know that. In a giant pickle jar down in my basement. Jake Warren says, hey man, have you ever been someone's best man before? My best friend's getting married on Saturday and I'm nervous as F for my speech. Any tips? No, I've never been anyone's best man. Now my friend who's my best man at my wedding, I would probably be his best man, but he has a brother. So he's got to make his brother his best man or else it would be up to me, I think. And I've never had to write a best man speech, but the thing is, it's a simple outline. You say you introduce the bride and the groom, and you say a couple funny, witty one-liners that are kind of personable, and you wish them the best of luck. Simple, sweet, and short are the best speeches you can give at a wedding. When it goes over 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, it's time to get off stage. The Dark Mike says, have you seen season 3 of The Bear? I have not. Also, you recommended a little movie called 8mm like a year ago. I watched it. That shit is wild. Oh man, if you haven't seen 8mm starring Nicolas Cage in a snuff film, you have not seen anything. What to do? Get you off or something? It's so great. 8mm is a truly underrated film that I love. I highly recommend it. Watch it with your family around Christmas time. That's the best time. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kidding. But there's an antagonist in the film 8mm. And the antagonist's name is Machine. And he wears a leather gimp mask. Do I need to say anything else to elaborate on why you should watch the film 8mm starring Nicolas Cage that came out in 1999, directed by the director of Batman and Robin? I know, it's quite the contrast, but you should definitely watch it. So yeah, watch 8mm. It also has Joaquin Phoenix in it. James Dozier says, do you care for Shane McMahon as a wrestler? Back in the day, I liked when Shane wrestled. I think his King of the Ring match against Kurt Angle, what was that, King of the Ring 2001? That was a phenomenal match. And the dude could take a beating. You had to respect that, at least about Shane McMahon. But when he's getting suplexed into the what he thought was sugar glass, and it's actually plexiglass, and it's not breaking, and then he just lands on his skull, and you can hear it hit the concrete. Oh, man. That was intense shit. Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Tripler3 says, in your prime, could you beat Kakalaki Movie Madness OJ in a car race? Probably not. I've never really had a fast car. That's the thing. I've always drove SUVs that didn't really have the best 0 to 60 time, so probably not. They might beat me in the car race, but I might take him in the arm wrestling match. Avocado Balls Johnson says, you're sitting in a crowded, hot, sweaty 2007 theater, listening to the fat guy behind you loudly munching on his popcorn, all while Tobey Maguire thrusts his pelvis in your face through the silver screen. Okay, you definitely set up the right scenario, but what was the actual question? I'm there. I remember the moment. This is all based in reality. This is all true. This actually happened. I've told the story many times on YouTube about one of the worst theater experiences I've ever had, and that certainly was one of them. I don't know. Is it sick in the head to wish that the guy behind you chewing on his popcorn with his mouth open just chokes to death on it. But what you do is you can hear him choking to death, but you're the only one in the theater picking up on it, and you know he's dying. You know he's dying. But the question is, do I want to save him, or do I just want to finish the movie with some peace? That's a conflict that you have to ask yourself. What should I do? I don't know. The movie wasn't very good. But do I let him die or do I not? I don't know. That's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves another time. Yes, I would let him die. Okay. Morg, the editor, says, "We love you. Please wish your girlfriend, Jody, a happy birthday. Your streams are her favorite." Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said mine. It's your girlfriend. Okay. I was like, who's Jody? Oh, so, okay. Happy birthday, Jody. Happy birthday to you. So thanks, Morg, the editor. Your streams are her favorite to listen to while falling asleep. Well, thanks. I like to think the soothing sounds of my boring voice put everyone to sleep. So sleep tight, Jody. Don't let the bug bite. Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, "There's girls like Jenna Ortega who are actively encouraging people to learn film history and to understand which sounds and lights enhance the movie experience. And then there's girls like Millie Bobby Brown who don't have the attention span to watch her own movies." Yeah, there's very different people out there in cinema, and that's why some actresses and actors make it a little bit further than others. I think outside of Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown isn't going to have much of a career. Let me pick up this pen. All right. What was that Millie Bobby Brown movie? It was like that really shitty, generic Netflix movie where she's a princess and then something happens and then she's in a cave. There was a dragon in it? What was that completely forgettable, terrible movie called? I watched it. I just forgot it existed. And by the way, I just watched Beetlejuice again for like the 20th time. Quite enjoy it. Hey, I'm walking down here. Skylar Wheelock says, "Would you kill... Jesus Christ, man. Would you kill kittens if it meant you'd be cast in a Tarantino movie? You don't have to be the star. You can be the henchman." Well, how many kittens do I have to kill? No, man, that's terrible. But no, in all seriousness, how many? Nick Gibson says, "Any plans to see Austin Burke in Lexington, Kentucky again? I'm a pharmacy student at UK and love to possibly catch a movie with you guys." I've never met Austin in Lexington, Kentucky. Never once. I always see him at, when we meet up for a press screening, it's usually in like Columbus, Ohio. So I have no immediate plans to go to Lexington, Kentucky, man. So that's the best answer I can give you on that one. But I think he is coming to my wedding, so I don't know. Akai Nai, how's it going, buddy? Hi, John. I need money too. How we making some? Haha. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't understand how people make money. I really don't. I see people that live in houses that look nice. They have nice cars. And I'm just like, what are you doing every day? How do you pay for everything? How do you do it? How do people buy things? It's a weird phenomenon. I don't understand it. I went to the grocery store the other day and I bought 4 things and it was like $73. And I don't even, like, what I don't even know what happened. I got in my car and I cried. Anyway, yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. OnlyFans, I think that's the next step in evolution for me. If I could just get some baby oil, wear these bunny ears, I don't know. Maybe that's the next step in evolution. But I don't even know if creepy old dudes would pay for that shit anymore. That's the unfortunate thing. I'm getting too old. All right. The next one comes from Real Films, Real Talk, who just gave me a super chat. No question, but thanks, man. Much appreciated. Bruce Cook says, What about your old Contour? Oh, my old Ford Contour where the door panel was falling off? That was the biggest piece of shit I've ever owned. That thing would go 0 to 60 maybe if you could start it. Hyped movie that disappointed? Tenet. Yeah, that's a good pick, Bruce. I would actually agree with Tenet. So many great ideas, some great visuals, but man, that was just a self-indulgent movie from Christopher Nolan. James Dozier says, Castaway on 4K, I'm hoping one day. Yeah, I could dig on that. I love me some Castaway. That's one movie that I probably rewatch every year because it evens me out. It reminds you of what life really is. When all the cards fall, it's up to you to survive. And at the very end of this, you're going to have a choice to make. You're going to be at a crossroads in life because no one waits forever. That's the truth. No one waits forever. I love Castaway. Okay, the next one comes from Dustin Rich, who says, what's your favorite Alien movie besides the first two? Well, besides the first two, well, I did like the new Alien movie. I liked Romulus. I really did. Had they cut back on the fan pandering like 10%, I think it would have been a better movie. Like, hey, remember this? Wink, wink. It doesn't fit. Wink, wink. Remember this? That took me out of it a few times, but I really liked the visual style and the vibe of Prometheus. I think if you could go back in and edit 20 minutes of Prometheus, and I think there's a director's cut that's never been released, or there's a lot of extra scenes that could be interjected back into the film. But Prometheus, for me, if you could just rework that movie a little bit, I think you'd have an awesome movie. But such a missed opportunity as well. But Prometheus to me it might be my third favorite Alien movie. I love the engineers. I love that. I love those characters. I love that lore. I like the story. Where it went was highly disappointing. So the next one comes from Night King 01, who says, John, remember when you said the 1977 movie The Driver wasn't available anywhere in the US? Well, it's on Apple TV. So you have no reason not to pay $3 to rent it or get a 7-day trial and watch it for free. Given your love for Drive, this is a no-brainer. Man, you've been selling me on this movie for about 6 months now, and I promise you, I will watch it. It's on Apple TV, costs $3. Okay. I'll watch it, man. I'll watch it. Okay, the next one comes from Damsel. Yeah, that's the Millie Bobby Brown movie that sucked balls. Yeah, Damsel. Clark Ingleton says, Big Don John, what do you think is the single worst song you have ever heard? Think carefully now. I don't know. Friday. Gotta get. Yeah, maybe Friday. I don't know. That's the best answer I can give you right now. I think there's almost something to enjoy about every song, even if it's terrible. There's something that you can at least like get something out of it to some degree. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of 90s pop when I'm driving in my car late at night. Something about late night drives with like Christina Aguilera playing or NSYNC's greatest hits really sets the mood. You roll the windows down, you feel the breeze go through your hair. You almost pretend like you have frosted tips and it's 1998 all over again. It's a good time. Try that. Andy says, what are some of your favorite movies not in the English language? Oh, probably Old Boy would definitely be one of them. Parasite would be another one. Basically, I like South Korean movies quite a bit. They're not afraid to just go for it, and they don't pull their punches. I quite enjoy it. Baby Shark. Did I like Oddity? I thought Oddity was fine. I thought it was a fine little horror film. Yeah. I didn't love it, but I liked it. The 50% Doctor Who podcast says, "How's Woofy? I can hear him barking." Psh, your foster parents are dead. Andy says, what are some of your favorite movies? Oh, we already answered that. Elliot Cecil says, Rings of Power is an abomination to humanity. Yeah, so I remember watching the first episode of Rings of Power, the first season, and man, oh shit, man. That looked like it was made by AI. It just looked so glossy and forced and fake, and I was like, ugh. I didn't continue watching it. I have a friend who's the biggest Lord of the Rings fan you could find, and he can't stomach the show, and that really tells me something. Does anyone watch it? Does anyone like Rings of Power? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you quite enjoyed the show. And don't get me wrong, it's so disappointing that you have this billion-dollar series where money is not a problem, and they just can't get it right. Like, imagine if the Lord of the Rings of Power show was phenomenal. Oh, wouldn't that just be so fun to watch on a weekly basis? The next one comes from Elliot Cecil, who says, also, I'm about to shoot my thesis film for college in October. I'm very stressed. Yeah, man, I could only imagine. Do you have to shoot like a short film? Is it like a 10-minute short film? I don't know. It kind of sounds fun, to be honest. What's the premise? Let me know. Well, good luck with it, man. Jonas Gerald says, hi, John. I am glad you enjoyed Alien Romulus. Have you seen Fide? Come on, chat. Have you seen his other movie, Evil Dead from 2013, and Don't Breathe? I have seen Don't Breathe, and I have seen Evil Dead 2013. Not only that, I have a review for Evil Dead 2013 on the Flick Pick channel. Go check it out. And by the way, guys, can I be a dirty whore for just about 5 seconds right now? Can someone say yes? If you want to, you don't have to. Go follow me on TikTok if you want to. Actually, go do it right now. I want to do more short form content. And I want to fit in with all the cool kids. So I think I'm going to start posting more stuff. I like Instagram Reels. It feels cleaner and classier and safer. But I will start posting more on TikTok, the same videos essentially. So if you haven't followed the Flick Pick on TikTok, go do so. And by the way, my latest short form content video was I went to pick up. Hang on, I'll go grab it for you. I picked up this bad boy from AMC Theaters last week. So if you want to see that video, it's kind of like a mini condensed version of a Flick Trip / review of this overpriced piece of Chinese plastic that I like, and it makes me feel better about myself by putting it on my shelf. But kind of a cool bat signal. Like this thing weighs like 2 ounces. It's probably made out of recycled like water bottles, but it's pretty awesome though. I think that looks kind of cool. And it's also a popcorn bucket because you put your popcorn right there. So cool stuff. So if you want to see that video, it's on my the Flick Pick TikTok. The link is probably down below. And I did upload it as a YouTube short, but man, YouTube shorts, they don't gain much traction. You think they would be more popular, but it's like to get a YouTube short on YouTube is sort of a hassle. Like you have to go into the app, go down to the shorts, scroll on them, and then like they just don't feed you them. You know, I don't know. I just don't feel like short form content on YouTube really has any substance to it. And plus, it's only 60 seconds. And to me, it's like, that's just too short. That's just too short. I know it's called a short. I get it. But you should at least get 90 seconds. I can't even get my point across in 60 seconds. Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, could you recommend a good con artist movie? I've seen Lord of War, Matchstick Men, the Ocean's Trilogy, and Catch Me If You Can. Well, damn it, you watched just about all the good con man movies I was going to mention. You could watch... there's got to be something I'm not thinking of when it comes to con men movies. Oh, that's a great question. Let's Google it. There's got to be something I'm not thinking of. Oh, you can watch Wolf of Wall Street. It's actually not even on the list. Curly Sue. I was thinking of James Belushi. Her dad's a con artist in that movie. Oh, I Love You, Philip. Okay, I'll give you one weird recommendation you might enjoy. Jim Carrey plays a gay guy, but it's called... what is it called? Oh, yeah, I Love You, Philip Morris. And it also has Ewan McGregor in it. And I actually enjoy that movie. And it's kind of raunchy. It's a comedy movie. But you might enjoy that if you've never seen it. Definitely a good con man movie. And I'll give you I'll give you two more personal recommendations. You open up the floodgates. Another movie I would recommend is a movie called Boiler Room, which I love. I love movies like that. I love like sleazy business movies. They just always, I don't know, they're captivating to me. So watch a movie called Boiler Room. It's from like 2000. It has Vin Diesel in it. And Giovanni Ribisi is in the movie as well. Great movie. Go check that out. But the precursor to that is a movie called Glengarry Glen Ross. It's about these salesmen, and it's based on a play. So it's a very small, condensed movie that takes place in only a few locations, but Al Pacino stars in the movie as well. So watch Glengarry Glen Ross. Those are a few recommendations. There you go. Elliot Cecil says, awesome, I'm about to shoot... Oh, I already answered this. Okay, here we go. Jonas Gerald says, people with bad theater etiquette are being very inconsiderate. Oh, I think people with bad theater etiquette should be lined up behind the theater and shot. I really do. Listen, I was going to try to justify that, but you either get it or you don't, okay? Okay, maybe I'm being too hyperbolic. Am I being too hyperbolic? Okay, people with bad theater etiquette can decide which finger they want chopped off. There you go. Okay, let's continue the question. But what truly reveals a person's character is how they react when you make them aware of their bad behavior. Are they reacting in a humble way, or are they getting defensive? Well, typically people low IQ that are white trash get very defensive when you call them out on their actions. So what I mean by that is we actually went to see a movie. What was it? It was like a really instantly forgettable movie we saw in the theater. And there was this lady. She was sitting in like 5 rows in front of us, all the way to the left by the door. And every time someone did something on screen, she would talk to her friend. She was an older lady. And she probably watched a lot of Jerry Springer reruns, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, right? I'm sure you are. And she would just talk to her friend or complain about what was happening up on the screen. And you could tell her friend was like, okay, shut up. But she didn't say that. And at one point, my fiance went, shh. And everyone in the theater kind of like agreed, like, yeah, shut the fuck up. And this lady went, I'm not going to be quiet. Blah, 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 blah. You know? And then eventually we let her get that out. And like 5 minutes later, she kind of toned down a little bit. But But yeah, but part of me, the way my brain works is I see bright flashes of red, and every fiber in my being wanted to go over there with my popcorn bucket and just dump it on her head and say, go outside to the dumpster, trash. But you can't do that in society. It's a really unfortunate thing. And I'm trying to come to terms with that. I'm almost there. But listen, I'm all for theater etiquette. That's my biggest pet peeve on this planet. I didn't pay money to hear your fucking problems. You inconsiderate piece of trash. Okay? Maybe I'll just start saying that. How can you disagree with that? The next one comes from, sorry if that got a little too real. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's what you come here for, the raw, visceral, unadulterated content. And that's what I'm going to give it. This isn't about pulling punches, okay? You want the truth, this is where you come. You want lies, you want to be placated to, there's other YouTube channels for that. I don't have time for that anymore. Life is too short. You deserve the truth. Darian Taylor says, just watch Dark City with Kiefer Sutherland. Pretty good late 90s flick and movie concept. Inception seems inspired by it. Big fan for about 10 years. Well, also, I mean, Dark City, Matrix, Inception. There's like 3 other movies that kind of borrowed some of those concepts. Definitely. I have not seen Dark City since probably like 2000, man. So I don't remember much about it, but thanks for sticking around for 10 years, man. Thank you for that. You know, I've been doing this. I think this October will mark, I want to say, 14 years on YouTube this October. 14 years. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. It's scary. It's terrifying to me. I've been doing YouTube the majority of my adult life. Almost all of it, to be honest with you. So anyway, it's been a long ride, but buckle up. We're not going anywhere. Not yet. We might just be getting started, but I'll let you know that next week. Will I have a triumphant full-time return to YouTube? I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned, kids. Will Batman avoid the boiling acid? Tune in next week. Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, I just recently watched The Heart of the Sea. I hate that movie. I've been avoiding it like the plague because you gave it a negative review back in the day. Oh, yeah, I bet I did. I really enjoyed it, and I wasn't bored at all. I just love maritime adventure movies. Well, maybe I was unfair to the movie. Now, keep in mind, I have not seen that since the theater experience. That was a Ron Howard movie. It kind of felt like it was crapped out. That was when Ron Howard was in love with making movies starring Chris Hemsworth. And also, the thing that I found truly detrimental about Heart of the Sea, is that what it's called? The Moby Dick movie. What the fuck was it called? Heart of the Sea, yes. The thing that I did not like about it was Ron Howard's color grading for about like 3 or 4 years in that time period. He liked making all of his movies this icky green color. And it's just the most unsettling, unpleasant visual style to look at. There's too much color grading going on, right? It's so forced. It feels like a music video. It's like, okay, yeah, like the sky can have like a little bit of a hue in it, but when it looks straight up green, like this is too much. So I think that was one of the negatives I had with it. It looked like Michael Bay directed the movie. Like Ron Howard was trying to make the Michael Bay version of films for thinking men or something. I don't know. It really rubbed my rhubarb the wrong way. I'll leave it there. But I haven't seen the movie since it came out. What was that? 2012, 13, 14, I think, right? Jonas Gerald says, as we know, Ori of the most... Wait. As we know, one of the most important aspects of life is to indoctrinate your children into liking quality cinema. What are the 5 essential films you would show them? Well, you got to start. Well, how old are they? Are they like cognitive little beings, like 8 years old, 9, 10? I think by 10, you can appreciate cinema, but you can start that process around 8, 9 years old. I mean, I was watching movies like True Lies and Terminator when I was, Jesus. I was watching rated R movies since I was 5 years old. I used to watch Nightmare on Elm Street with my family around Halloween time. So that describes who I am as a person, but I think that's good. I'm not this padded person, right? I think that's another thing about showing children adult content that isn't too adult, but rides the line. Like a fun action movie. I think there's nothing wrong in that. Now, if it's sexually explicit, okay, maybe we pump the brakes. But then again, I was watching Basic Instinct when I was 7 years old in my grandma's basement. And I was trying to pause it just at the right time on VHS. But every time you pause it just right, there was like a tracking issue. You guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But if you're in your 30s, you might. So I think, with all that said, you show, if you have like a 9-year-old, you show them Jurassic Park, right? Okay. You show them Star Wars. You show them Back to the Future. You could show them, I don't know, maybe some Indiana Jones. Pretty much everything in the early Spielberg catalog, I think, is fair game. So we'll start there. But I need to show my children Jurassic Park and Back to the Future. I think those are the 2 fundamental movies that can turn you on to enjoying films as a kid. They're big, they're explosive, they're imaginative, but at the same time, they're not overindulgent. You still have these charismatic characters leading the story, paving the way, but there's so many iconic images and scenes in there that's fun for anyone, right? So to sum it up, if I have a kid and they don't like Back to the Future or Jurassic Park, I think what I'm going to do is drive them out into the country, leave them with like maybe a small source of food, some Lunchables, like 4 or 5 Lunchables and a high C, and I'll just leave them in the woods and they can live their lives and they'll be fine. But that's only, and I mean only if they don't like movies like Jurassic Park. So hopefully I'll be okay. But that's my biggest fear, is I'm a dude who likes movies, and if I have kids who don't like movies and they just want to like get on TikTok all day and they have the attention span of like a goldfish, I'm going to be so disappointed. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Ingrid Plaza says, you are the same age as me. Also, a fan of Conan O'Brien. I like Conan. I always liked Conan O'Brien more than any late night talk show host. His comedy was always the sort of comedy style I liked and appreciated. His bits stand the test of time. The insult comic dog at the Star Wars premiere was legendary. Absolutely. Yeah, I loved Conan O'Brien. I used to watch that all the time back when I was younger. I used to watch Jay Leno with my grandfather, but Conan O'Brien was always more my flavor. That sounds weird. Night King 01 says, checked just to make sure it's on Apple TV for free if you have the service, but only in Belgium, so I still hope you can VPN. I'm not going to VPN. I'll pay the $3. I'll watch the movie, I promise. I will watch it, and I will give you my thoughts. At some point, I promise you, Night King 01. That is, I make a vow to you. I honor this. I will watch the movie before I die, and I will report back to you my thoughts. Just give me some time. The next couple months are very busy. I'm getting married next month. Did you guys know that? So a lot of things are happening. A lot of things are culminating in life right now, and it's a little bit hectic, and just bear with me, okay? Riley Johnston says, hey, I'm an actor in the USA national tour of Shrek, the musical. I'm traveling from city to city every other day and need movie recommendations. Well, first and foremost, let's back the fuck up. What are you doing? You're an actor in the USA national tour of Shrek the musical. Is that true? Is there any validity to that? Because if so, you're missing out on a brilliant TikTok channel or TikTok account where you could just vlog your life daily. That would be groundbreaking content. Anyway, I don't know, man. I just scroll through my YouTube channel and I'm sure something will pop up there. Go watch Point Break. Go watch that Nightcrawler. Or go watch 8mm. Can I tell you what would be the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life? A guy dressed like Shrek watching 8mm in a dark room. Holy shit. That's a viral video right there. Anyway, Rebel Rock says, what 90s movie would you turn into a musical that isn't a musical? My pick would be The Matrix. Think of how funny it would be to see Neo Agent Smith singing and dancing. Oh yeah, the choreography where they're leaning over backwards and doing kung fu. The Matrix would be a great musical. I can't disagree with that. Now I have to top that? Shit, okay, here's one for you. I got you. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Con Air the musical. You ready for it? The majority of it takes place on a plane, right? So it fits the stage. You can have the stage play right there. Wait, is this a movie musical or is it like a Broadway play musical? Because I'm thinking like Broadway play musical. So let's stick with that. Con Air the musical on Broadway. Could you imagine like Cyrus the Virus breaking out into a melody, and then you have Steve Buscemi, who was like the cannibal of the group, having a little singing solo? Oh God, that'd be beautiful. Wouldn't it just be beautiful? Speaking of that, put the bunny back in the box. I didn't plan on wearing these the entire live stream. I really didn't. But having them on my head, squeezing me just right, really does feel comforting in a weird way. So I figured all of you should know that. And thanks to all 284 of you watching right now. All right, the next one comes from Rebel Rock, who says, what movie would you like to see a sequel to? I'd love to see a sequel to The Faculty. I'm bummed they never did it. It definitely is a childhood fave. Yeah, The Faculty is a nice little underrated movie from 1998. Is it 98? I'm going to go 98 on that. Yeah, I like The Faculty quite a bit. It seems like they could have made a sequel to that. Or maybe a modern day remake, because that's what Hollywood does. But that does seem like a fairly inexpensive horror film that you could kind of remake. I don't know what you... I think if you were to make it, though, if you could make it set in a different time period, I think that would be really beneficial to it. And I know it's like the cliche thing to say, well, make it set in the 1980s. But I really feel like if you made a made for Netflix, The Faculty movie set in the 1980s, where you had a quality director, I think that could be a good time. I could dig that. But if you haven't seen the original, definitely check it out. Stars Robert Patrick, the T-1000, and Josh Hartnett. And it stars I forgot his name. Elijah Woods. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say Frodo Baggins, but... Okay, the next one comes from Dustin Rich. Do you think Bodie would approve of your current 9-to-5 and lawn maintenance style? No, I barely approve of it. But I will tell you this. I don't... Well, probably not. You know, it was all about us against the system, showing that the human spirit's still alive, inching down the freeway in our metal coffins. And what am I doing? I'm going back and forth on my yard trying to get my lines perfectly straight on my riding lawnmower as I listen to wrestling podcasts. I don't know if he would approve of it, but it's definitely a needed phase in my life. Will this phase last forever? I don't know, but I do stand by this. He robbed banks, okay? So maybe that's the next alternative. That's the next occupation I need to look into. But also he was a surfer as well. I don't have any interest in surfing. So maybe I can be the guy who robs banks on the weekend, plays disc golf, and mows his yard. That's the guy who I want to be. Definitely a better cover-up story too, right? Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, "You missed my super chat. Asked if you feel old that Batman Begins is turning 20 years old. I remember you said you watched the trailer and it inspired you to start YouTube." It did indeed, man. So that is kind of scary to think about. Next year, Batman Begins will be 20 years old. Holy shit. Where has the time gone? I do vividly remember the first time I saw the trailer for Batman Begins, and it started out, and I was hoping and praying it was going to be like some kind of ninja movie. I didn't know if he's going to be like an assassin or a ninja, but I was like, this feels like Bruce Wayne. But it was throwing me off a little bit. And as soon as he opened up that cupboard and it had the bat cowl in it, literally, I think I orgasmed. And I don't mean that to be grotesque. I don't mean that as a joke. I think I did. But that to me was everything I was waiting for and needed in life. And yeah, in a weird way, Batman Begins kind of did inspire me to start talking about movies on YouTube, because I was like, well, I love that movie. I would like to talk about it. Where do I do this? And YouTube was the platform to do such things. So in a weird way, it did inspire me. And that, when I was watching that movie, that's when I felt like talking about movies. I didn't just want to watch them anymore. I wanted to talk about them. Dustin Rich says, do you think... Oh, already answered this. Sorry. Crazy Diamond 76 says, Shocker is coming to 4K this October. What the fuck is that? Organity hyped, but still waiting on the 4K transfer of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. I have the Blu-ray of The Fly. That's crazy that Shocker's getting a 4K release. I mean, I get it. I don't know if that's a movie that you need to watch in 4K. Part of me thinks the best way to watch Shocker is on a VHS tape where someone recorded it off TV. To me, that feels like the proper format to watch Shocker. Like that junky kind of soft-looking image. But it feels right for such a movie like Shocker. Skylar Wheelock says, I forgot about Bad Santa. There's another good con artist movie. Yeah, the first Bad Santa's pretty good. Second one, not so much. You ain't gonna shit right. Okay. Frederick LeBron says, thoughts on Moon Knight and his future in the MCU. I was not really a fan of that show. I'm not really a fan of the character Moon Knight. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of it. And speaking of the moon, can I talk about a movie called Fly Me to the Moon starring Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson? Now, going into this movie, I just expected it to be a nice little comedy movie that felt like it could have come out in 2001. It's a movie that maybe your mom would like to watch or your grandma would watch, right? And that's all I was expecting. But my God, this is the most boring, bland movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm halfway through it. I refuse to finish it. It feels like it feels like soulless. And it's baffling to me. And the production quality of the movie is great. The movie looks good. It looks like an expensive movie. You have 2 A-list stars in the movie. But I don't understand why this movie was made. Who was this made for? Why was it made? How was this script greenlit? Has this screenplay been floating around Hollywood since 1998 and they finally just greenlit it and made it because the rights were going to expire? I don't know. It just feels like the most calculated, we've already seen this 8,300 times from Hollywood movie, and there's no chemistry between Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson in Fly Me to the Moon. I was half expecting to kind of enjoy the movie. I really was. It was going to be like the perfect go-to-bed movie. But man, it's just so boring. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Hiram Levonos says, sorry I mispronounced your name, Hiram. I wish Jared Hess would make another movie. Jared Hess? Why is that not resonating with my brain? Oh, yeah, the director of Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. I don't know, man. I definitely think Napoleon Dynamite's truly underrated. But everything he made after that just couldn't quite capture, like Nacho Libre or something. I watched part of that once. The gag got old real quick. I just don't think he could duplicate the same success he had. Skylar Wheelock says, Silence of the Lambs has a perfect ending. Agree? Oh, I think Silence of the Lambs is one of the best movies ever made. I truly mean that. I think when it comes to screenwriting, acting, plot, characters, supporting characters, cinematography, pace, style, Silence of the Lambs is a near perfect movie, if not a perfect movie. There's nothing in that movie that shouldn't be there, and there's nothing that the movie left out that should be there. It's just right in every regard. And I think Silence of the Lambs, when it came out, was it 90, 91? Didn't it win like 5 Academy Awards, including Best Supporting Actor with Anthony Hopkins, who has like 6 minutes of screen time? So yeah, Silence of the Lambs, I don't think it's just a subjective thing to say. I think it's objectively probably one of the best movies ever made. It's definitely in my top 20. Rebel Rock says, what's a nude scene that helped you through puberty? Mine is Nadia in American Pie. That's exactly the one I was going to go to. And I'll tell you something else about American Pie that relates to Nadia. How many people are watching? Okay, 274. Okay. Everyone in the first American Pie movie looks sweaty, including Nadia. Slightly sweaty, right? Just the right amount, though. More, Jim, more. But then again, in American Pie, back in 1999, he secretly turned on a webcam to present that girl in her most, what's the word this term I'm looking for? Vulnerable state. And nowadays, if you did that, that would be like a crime. You would be canceled for the rest of your life. But 1999, it's funny. But anyway, everyone in American Pie, the first movie, looks so sweaty. And I feel like it's because like where they shot the movie in the studio didn't have AC or something. I feel like I read that somewhere, but I always noticed everyone in that movie looks so sweaty. But I thought it added to it for some odd reason. Weird little thing I always noticed about American Pie. But if I had to pick one, I always quite enjoyed, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the actress's name. I gotta take these bunny ears off. They're squeezing my brain matter too much. Why can I not? Come on, somebody help me here. Tell me who I'm thinking of. She was in Casino. She was in Total Recall. She was in Basic Instinct. Not Kim Basinger. Who am I thinking? Oh my God, it's escaping my brain. But anyway, her. Not the three boob woman in Total Recall, you pervert. Oh gosh. Anyway, let's go to the next one here. Rebel Rock says, I'm introducing my girlfriend and her friends to American Pie series. They need to make a sequel. Stifler could end cancel culture. Why does Nadia's impression sound like Tommy Wiseau? I don't know. All my impressions sound like Tommy Wiseau. Yeah, Sharon Stone. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. That's when you know it's getting late. Sharon Stone. Thank you, Bruce Cook, as well. Yeah, I definitely think we're at a time and place where a new American Pie movie, if it referenced pulp culture now, and especially Stifler, he could reference social media and TikTok and all these things. I think that would be really awesome. And maybe he is a TikTok guy at this point in life. I don't know. Accidentally so. Couldn't tell you. Or maybe he's been canceled. You know, that could be interesting. But I've been waiting for a new American Pie movie since Reunion, and it's been like, 12 years now? And I think now's the time to make another one. I don't understand how they don't make a new one every 10 years. I feel like the cast of the movies would definitely come back because none of them are doing much right now. The movies don't cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and it feels like any streaming service would love to get their hands on the IP to do such a thing. That's a universal property, right? So I don't know. Maybe that's the holdup. But I would love to see a new American Pie movie. Dino Boy says, give us a Halloween story. Leprechaun versus Chucky? Speaking of Chucky, I bought the Chucky animatronic from Home Depot the other day. The 3.5 foot tall animatronic from Home Depot that's now sold out. So I can't wait to play with that at some point. I want to play Hide the Soul with it. A good Halloween story. I got a Halloween story for you. So back when I lived in Georgia when I was a kid, from 1995 to 1999, I lived in Georgia, and I lived in a wooded area, and I lived on this street that had a very large hill. It went up and it went down. I just described what a hill is, I know, but it had a very steep road on it. And along this road were a lot of houses. And at the very top of this hill, where you always had to pass by this one house at the very top to go anywhere, because I lived on one side and all of my friends lived on the other side. So there was one Halloween where we all got home, we were kind of hanging out, and I left out one very explicit, important detail of this story. At the top of this hill lived a convicted pedophile who committed crimes against children. And I know this because just 2 years prior to it, they had to send out a public notice to everyone in the neighborhood that he lived there. Now, in his yard, he had a couple rusted pickup trucks, and he had chickens and dogs. And he also had like a chicken coop in the backyard. So you always heard chickens ruffling about in the backyard. It was terrifying shit. And riding my bike past his house every night I thought I was going to end up in his basement. Every time I rode past his house, I was like, yep, this is it. I'm going to end up in his basement, but never happened. So one cold, rainy Halloween night, and it might not have been cold nor rainy, but just to set the mood, for the sake of the story, it was. And I remember two of my friends in Halloween costume dared me to go knock on his door 3 times and then run away. So it took some convincing, and I think what they did is they basically gave me I got to pick any 10 pieces of candy from their trick-or-treating bags that I wanted, and that's how they bought me, basically selling my soul to the devil to go up there and knock on this guy's door. So what was I that year for Halloween? I don't remember. What was I? I want to say I was Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, we'll go with that. So anyway, I go up to this guy's door, right? I walk past his truck. I walk past his little chicken coop in his yard, and I hear things ruffling about in the woods. And I go to knock on his door, and all of a sudden, I hear a voice saying, "No trick-or-treaters," come from the window right beside the door, where he was literally, his face was right here at the screen of the window looking at me with his pale face, and he had one of those creepy mustaches, one of those bar handle mustaches, because I'm sure he hung out in places where that was real popular, if you know what I mean. My body tensed up to a degree that I don't think I could ever recreate. My spine turned into a lead pipe. Okay? Then I immediately turned around. I don't even think I turned. I pivoted around and ran back to the street. And I think I ran probably a quarter mile back to my house as my friends chased behind me. And ever since then, I always thought that guy was going to seek vengeance on me and break into my house and kill me. And it took many months to get past that thought. Anyway, that was a Halloween story I just thought I'd like to share with you. So yeah, I kind of suppressed that for a long time. So thanks for bringing that up. I much appreciate it. Let's go to the next question. The next one, I forgot that existed. Oh man. Okay. Rebel Rock says, Amy Smart's nude scene in Road Trip did things for me. I need to be alone now. Well, the funny thing in that movie was the guy who sniffs her feet on the bus. Rictus Erectus 76 says, he's not behind me now. Okay, maybe he is. I don't know. I'm a little bigger now. I think I can put up a good fight. Plus, you know what? I got this. Okay, I'll put that down now. The next question comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, since we're... Jesus, you guys are perverts, but don't change anytime soon. Here we go. Since we're talking about nude actresses in movies, Kate Winslet was the first nude female I remember seeing in Titanic. I watched that scene with my grandma in the theater. I watched it with my mom, but I thought it was classy enough and historically accurate enough that it was okay. But yeah, it was a great scene. Lou says, have you seen the making of Prometheus? It's free on YouTube. Romulus looked good at some points, but Prometheus has some real movie magic in my opinion. Yeah, I think both look great. I probably have seen the making of it at some point. I'll tell you one thing about Alien Romulus that was kind of funny. The director released a clip on like social media where you had the humanized xenomorph who was actually played by like a 7.5 foot tall basketball player. And he's just in the suit talking, hanging out. And it looks so surreal. That should be released. That should have been released before. Well, maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. But just him talking in that suit was more eerie than what we saw in the movie to me. Rebel Rock says, hearing your Halloween story makes me wish they did a horror film like that, like a fun, creepy, nostalgic 90s Goosebumps type movie, but more gritty. Oh yeah, this wasn't Goosebumps. You couldn't do the things that this guy did in real life in Goosebumps. There's no way. But yeah, I would definitely dig that. It could be a great short film. Sounds like it would be a good short film idea. Lucas Bernowskowitz says, it'd be like Stranger Things if you had a convicted predator against children in the show. And less supernatural things. That's what it would be. Lucas Bernowskowitz says, if Hardy was taller, would The Dark Knight Rises be better? I don't think it would hurt. There's something about 5'9" Bane. I love me some Tom Hardy. I liked him as Bane. But at the end of the day, Batman was taller than Bane, and that just did not sit right with me. Okay, guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions here, and I might have to wrap up this live show because it is getting late, and it is a work night, unfortunately. I hate life, I know. But I'll answer a few more questions, so let's Okay, here it is. Claudia Rogajon says, random, but somehow mentioned Point Break earlier, and I always reminded how people say the first Fast and Furious is just Point Break. But actually, it more rips off the movie No Man's Land with Charlie Sheen. Most of the major plot points are the same. No Man's Land, if I can remember correctly, was where Charlie Sheen goes undercover to infiltrate a biker gang. And though I don't disagree with you, I just think plot point for plot point, it's more Point Break than it is No Man's Land. I really do. And I would almost make the argument No Man's Land is kind of a ripoff of Point Break. So there you go. I don't know. But hey, that's good. That's a good take. I don't disagree with it. I definitely think the all three borrow elements from one another. Okay, here we go. Makano says, oh, you were gifted a membership by Bob and KC? I didn't know that was a thing, but cool, man. You can gift memberships? Well, happy birthday to you. Okay, here it is. Introvert Gaming Dude says, oh, you were gifted a member. Everyone's being gifted memberships. Well, thanks, man. Thanks, Bob and KC. Makano says, thanks, Bob and KC. Okay, there we go. Okay, here it is. Jesus Salcido says, how many gummies does it take for the perfect high? Just one 25 milligram. That's all you need in life. Bob and Casey gifted 5 John Flickinger memberships. We'll give it up to Bob in Kansas City. Fuck yeah, Bob. You're a hero amongst the people. So say thanks, Bob. Halloween H2O is a good Halloween movie. H2O Halloween could have been a good Halloween movie if Michael Myers didn't look like a little boy who was 5'7" wearing a mask that was way too big for him in Halloween H2O. You're absolutely right. It could have been a fine Halloween movie. Though it's still just okay. David says, John, I've been watching for 10 years. What's your favorite Jackie Chan movie? The one that always hits home with me is Rumble in the Bronx. That was the first Jackie Chan experience I had in theaters. I love it. I love the bad audio dubbing. Hey, D'Angelo. No, my cushion. Well, if you don't know who Danny is, he's a little... Well, this sounds rude. Well, he's a little boy in a wheelchair. And he gets knocked over... And he just goes, my cushion. And for some odd reason, I've always found it hysterical. Also, the most important thing about Danny is, at one point, he's playing a Sega Genesis, or a Sega Saturn. I'm sorry. He's playing a Sega Saturn on a bus, and he's like really into the game, but there's no cartridge in it. I always thought that was quite funny. So, Night King 01 says, I have to add to the Fast and Furious influences that Jackie Chan's film Thunderbolt has very similar scenes and vibes that the Fast and Furious took from. The villain is pretty much the same in that. Great film. Also, you missed one from me. Night King 01, how could I ever miss one from you, damn it? I feel like you always say that to me, but I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Nope, I answered that. I don't see your other question because I'm seeing them all here, man. I don't see it. Maybe you just missed it. Maybe you blinked. Did you go to the bathroom? Maybe you missed it. How tall is John? Question mark. Well, thank you for that. You could have just said, how tall are you? Because I am reading the chat. I'm right at 6 foot tall. With shoes, I might be taller, but I'm 6 foot. I might be like... I think the older I've gotten, I might have shrunk just a few centimeters. But I'm right on the cusp of 6 foot, but with shoes on, I'm definitely over it. Joey Ruiz, Lord of Rings, says, Johnny, can you do an Arnold voice from Jingle All the Way? Not only can I will. I'm not a pervert. I just wanted a Turbo Man doll. That's it. That's all I got. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it. Have I seen The Bike Riders? I have seen The Bike Riders. To me, I had some good ideas. I think it was an interesting movie overall, but man, it just felt like the pulse was missing. It felt like I was just witnessing people that I didn't really know do things. I thought there were some like really intense sequences in it, but it just like, it wanted to be, the film Bike Riders wanted to be a very Scorsese style-esque film that just couldn't quite reach that level or that potential. So it felt like a B-rate version of one of his movies. So yeah, I was trying to like it a lot. And I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It just didn't quite hit the mark that it should have. John, thoughts on Face Off and Broken Arrow, 2 quintessential mid-90s action movies. I much prefer Face Off, but Broken Arrow is damn good too. Ooh, I'm good looking. Now, this is a military operation, which you wouldn't understand dick about. Jogwheel, how's it going, John? Man, how's it going? Just stopping in to say hi. Well, thanks for stopping in, John. Always nice to see you, man. How's life going? Are you going to dive back into YouTube full time or just dabble every once in a while? Sometimes it feels nice to dabble, doesn't it? But yeah, man, been watching your stuff for a long time. Put the cookie down. Yeah. I always go to I'm not a pervert line. I don't know. That says a lot about me, doesn't it? Andy says, free Barry Stanton. Okay. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, Johnny, can you... Oh, we already did that. You should stream games. The only game I would stream is Rocket League, and after about 3 games, I kind of run out of fuel and I lose my ability to be good at the game. Actually, all it takes is one kid who's probably 12 years old to beat me, unjustifiably so. And then what happens is I just smash my controller into the desk, I scream, and I get up and go pace outside for a couple minutes. So my stream would probably not last that long. And secondly, and most importantly, when I'm playing games, and the only game I do play is Rocket League, I have to hyper focus on it. I can't sit there and stream and talk to the chat and, hey guys, want to hear some quippy, witty one-liners? Fuck that. I need to focus on the game. That's it. I can't do both. Now, if it's some game that doesn't matter where I can casually play it and talk shit, fine. That could be possible. I would love to stream and play something like Super Mario World from the SNES or something like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Those are 2 games I would love to talk to you guys as I play. Because throughout those games, there's some hilarious shit that no one talks about that I'd really like to share with you. But maybe one day, I don't know. Do you guys want to see me stream games, or would you rather just see a talking head answer questions about movies and other weird shit? I don't know. I don't know who my audience is anymore. Please let me know. What do you guys want to watch? Jogwheel says, nice to see you too, and mostly just dabbling right now. Well, I understand, man. I'm right there with you. I don't know if I want to shit or get off the pot. Is the full-time job worth it? To give up your creative dreams and freedoms? I don't know. But then again, we're just at the mercy of some algorithm that's ever-changing, made by some corporate conglomerate who doesn't give a shit about us. So I understand. Makano says, I'd be down to watch that. Well, thanks for that, man. Positivity. If only we could have more of it. That's coming from a guy who hates everything. So it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Night King 01 says, John, speaking of Rumble in the Bronx, I have the uncut original version with the original audio. It's actually worse than the dub, but it's hilarious. No one can act, and some face away from the boom, and you can't hear them. Yeah, but I love that kind of stuff. It adds to the charm of it. Rictus Erectus says, you missed my question. Well, I will not miss Rictus Erectus's question. Now, let me scroll here as everyone looks at me scroll down for 25 minutes as I try to find it. Rictus, can you just type in your question in the normal chat? Because I'm not seeing it, man. And I'm 47 questions down now. What was Rictus Erectus's question? And I hope it was a good one. Rictus, can you ask the question again in the normal chat? Very quickly, please, sir. I'm looking for it, buddy. Sometimes this software it moves too quick and some things don't pop up. I don't know why that is, but blame Streamlabs. It's not my fault. Oh, here it is. Rictus Erectus 76. It is my fault. I missed it. But the reason I missed it was, well, because I'm incompetent. Have you seen the new Terminator anime on Netflix? I know anime isn't your style, but it's a solid 8 out of 10. So funny you mentioned that new Terminator anime show. So me and the lady, my fiance, can I just call her my lady friend? It sounds so pretentious to say fiance. What am I, French? No. So we were scrolling on Netflix for 47 minutes looking for something to find. Eventually I turned off the TV and went to bed. That's what Netflix is good for. You'll scroll so long you won't find shit to watch, and eventually you'll fall asleep. But with all that said, there was a teaser trailer for that show, the new Terminator animated movie, or whatever show. And all it did was show the logo slowly scrolling to the screen, and that was it. And I looked over at her and I said, I was really intrigued to watch that show and see what it was all about. And had they just showed me 4 seconds of anything from it, I would have been sold on clicking yes to watch it. But unfortunately, all they did is show me the logo. And I was really disappointed by that. I was like, that's the worst preview they could have picked. So anyway, Netflix, if you're watching, and I know the executives of Netflix watch every single live stream I make, you should fix that. Not good for marketing. Flickinger Twitch channel? Yes, please. I don't know how to use Twitch. I don't understand it. There's too many buttons and too many things I don't understand. I'll never use Twitch. I probably never will use it. I would just stream it on YouTube. Why would I go to Twitch? I have no fans on Twitch. You guys are all here. Right in the right place where I like you. Jogwheel says, preaching to the choir, my friend. YouTube wasn't enough money to support my family, wife, and 2 kids, so I went back to traditional video work. YouTube is just my hobby now. Much happier now. Well, that's good to hear, man. Yeah, I was following your channel, and I know you moved to like a big, kind of like an older farmhouse. So that was kind of like the last thing I saw. Did you make a video about that, or did I see that on like social media? I don't know. That seemed like it was 5 years ago. It could have been 10 years ago. Time just kind of coagulates the older you get. The White Skull says, which Kevin Smith movie is your favorite? Probably Clerks and Mallrats, if I had to pick 2. $1.21 gigawatts from Alex Guzman. Thank you for that. Makano says, sounds like the advertising to Independence Day. Slightly, yes. Thoughts on Jack Ryan movies? Jack Ryan movies to me are just those like mindless novels that come out every 3 months where you have another adventure with generic guy who can do everything. And the Jack Ryan movies I was never into. I never got into them, unfortunately. John, favorite Back to the Future? Oh, the original by far, man. Come on. Just call her the ball and chain. I could go with that. Night King 01 says, did the scene in Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan with bottles scare you as a kid? Also, in the original version, it's almost 2 minutes long. Yeah, so in Rumble in the Bronx, there's a scene where this gang basically trap him in a corner and start throwing and hitting bottles at him with baseball bats, and they just break on his face. And it's some brutal shit. Now, if you put that in any other movie, I think it would be terrifying. It would be devastating. And even in that movie, it kind of pushes the boundaries. I loved that scene. I think that's brutal shit. Did it scare me as a kid? I don't know if it scared me. The White Skull says, what is your favorite horror movie in the last 10 years? I would have to do some soul searching on that one, man. I really would. I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of that I love, but I would have to do... I'm really picky when it comes to horror movies. There's a lot of horror movies I'll watch and say, yeah, that was okay. But to say it's one of my favorites, it's just the one genre that I'm very particular with, because most horror films to me don't have a lot of rewatchability outside of watching them around Halloween time. But I don't know. I'll say this, and I've said it before, but one style of horror film that I quite enjoyed, and it was a horror film that I waited years and years to watch just because, I don't know why, was something like It Follows. I kind of enjoyed the simplicity of that. But I don't think that's my favorite horror film in the last 10 years. I don't know. I couldn't give you a great answer off the top of my head with that. I quite like, if you just want like a jump scare thriller type horror film, something like Insidious, I would say, is up there. But that's going beyond 10 years, isn't it now? Didn't that come out in 2010? Did it come out in 2000? Did the first Insidious come out in 2010? So 14 years ago? I don't remember. Claudio Rogajon says, did you get my second Streamlabs question? Claudio, I see this question. I don't know if I see another one. Oh, here it is. I'm getting to it. Hang on. Claudio Rogajon says, No Man's Land came out in 1987, and it's about guys stealing it's about guys stealing Porsches while they're in cars. Also, Charlie Sheen's character gets close to the main robber and also starts dating his sister, just like in the first Fast and Furious, and some dilemma occurs. Oh, you're talking about No Man's Land from 87? What the fuck was I talking about? Is that two different movies with the same title? I don't know. I liked Alien Romulus. Go to the last live show that we did. I talk about the movie for 20 minutes in the beginning of that live show. You'll even see the poster of Alien Romulus on it. Go watch the last live show if you get bored. But I liked it. I did. Can you tell me your thoughts on Alien Resurrection? I've seen that movie, I think, once or twice in my life, and I don't like it. And just the scene where the xenomorph is swimming underwater, it looks like the most 1997 CGI you'll ever see. I don't remember a lot about the movie. It just felt like it was... Maybe I'm mistaken, but I feel like the production on that was really rushed. On Alien Resurrection, I feel like they had a deadline to hit, and you could tell. Alex Guzman says, favorite Tarantino movie? Mine is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The abbreviations on that always throw me off. Quota. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably in my top 3 or 4. I've always been hard-pressed to say if it's Django Unchained or Pulp Fiction. I think Django Unchained, to me, is a bit more rewatchable. I love the Western vibe of it. I love DiCaprio in that movie. Great performance. Pulp Fiction is definitely up there, but I think Django Unchained has more rewatchability for me. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I quite enjoy. I just like the buddy team-up aspect of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. I just love when they're watching Leonardo DiCaprio's show, FBI's Most Wanted or whatever it is, and they're talking as they're watching it. Fuck that guy, as he shoots him, with the shotgun. It's good stuff. Plus, I love how Brad Pitt's character lives in a trailer beside a drive-in movie theater and feeds his dog like this grotesque dog food out of a can and eats macaroni and cheese. I love that. I could watch an entire movie about just that guy. So, yeah, I share your sentiments. I like Inglourious Bastards, but I don't know why. I just connect with the other movies. I like Django Unchained more. I just do. I don't even think it's probably technically the better movie. I just like Django Unchained more. It's just a journey I like to go on with two bounty hunters. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap up the live show now because I need to eat and get ready for bed and take a shower and then snuggle myself into the bed and watch some Pro Wrestling Delight because that's what I live for on Monday nights. Dudes covered in baby oil just wrestling each other with simplistic storylines, but it's pure. It's pure and it's unadulterated, and I quite enjoy it. So anyway, guys, I want to say this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for hanging out. And like I mentioned before, I'm trying to build up those numbers on social media, baby. I want to be a TikTok star. I want to fit in too. So if you want to, follow me on TikTok. I think the link is down below, or just type in the Flick Pick on TikTok. I'm going to start doing more short form style videos. Definitely some like quick reaction videos to movies I watch at the theater and at home. Because not everything needs a 25-minute video. No. But there's so many things and movies I randomly watch on like a Wednesday night where I'm like, oh shit, that's something I never noticed. Or maybe I'd like to share my thoughts on that, and I can make like a 2 or 3 minute video and just share it on social media. Probably not YouTube Shorts because they're simply too short. As always, guys, oh, it's not there? Okay, so just go to the Flick Pick. Go to TikTok, type in the Flick Pick. You'll find it, I promise you. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys probably this weekend with another live show. So have a good night, stay safe, and happy Labor Day. Bye-bye. I just knew one of you would do it. I fucking knew it. But I don't leave anyone left behind, okay? The Eisenator says, by the way, John, it's been a while since I caught one of your live shows. You make me happy. Good night. Damn it, man. You make me happy too. You really do. Thanks, Eisenator. Thanks for that, man. And that was a good last comment or last question to read. More of a statement, but a good statement. It makes me feel warm and tingly inside. As always, thanks for watching, guys. And I'm really leaving now. All right, take care. Bye.